Hello guys, welcome to the Classical Scratcher channel. And today I'm going to talk about the specific chemical element named carbon. The reason I'm talking about carbon is recently I heard an interview about breathing and how important it is and how much it can help us shape our health. I heard that carbon was really good for our body. Lots of people just think that oxygen is one of the most important ones because I also used to have that belief just a few days ago. But now I believe after hearing about that carbon, that breathing interview, I understood that carbon is just as equally important as oxygen. And you see, now I'm going to talk about how carbon is and just everything about carbon because I just can't keep saying how good something is without actually saying, like, giving you guys a perspective of how good carbon actually is. So let's start from the basics. Carbon is the sixth element of the periodic table and it has the symbol C. And secondly, I think we have to mention the fact that it's a very important element, like it basically makes up our lives. Not only that, carbon also makes up DNAs and molecules in our body, making it one of the most useful elements next to oxygen. And carbon dioxide, it's technically not really related to the carbon itself, but still carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide helps us to do movements much more easily because it helps our blood vessels to be much more bigger, which helps with flexible body. But if things get a little bit too much, things might get a little bit more tricky. After all, carbon is in lots of things. Diamonds, that has carbon. And even our pencil, that's also carbon too. Well, especially the black tip of the pencil. And the most not concerning at all, most wondrous thing is that the shape of the carbon in the diamond is pretty much close to the shape of the carbon in the pencil. So the carbon itself is a very wonderful thing. We all found about that. Carbon is also in our coals and fuels, and it also helps us to determine how old an ancient object is. Like literally, there's something called radiocarbon dating, and it's one of the best known methods of dating back objects. It's not just dating back to just objects, you can also date back an ancient bone of a human or animals or even a plant. You can also shorten it to C14 dating. I remember when I was young, my mom bought me a book about paleontology, and I remember reading about it and I was like, wow, that's so great, but I just didn't look into it. But now looking back at this with this current knowledge, I feel like, wow, I should have looked into this more further. Maybe I would have unearthed my love for chemistry even more recently. And charcoal or just carbon also promotes our kidney health and lowers our cholesterol health, which I think is also very good for people struggling with cholesterol and also kidney health too. And the reason that carbon basically created our earth and our lives is because carbon itself can form bonds with other atoms much more easily and basically being quite flexible. But we all know that everything has two sides. We have found out that carbon is pretty good for us. It even creates our bits of lives. It even creates our DNAs and molecules. But there is also side effects too. Too much carbon dioxide can include headaches, dizziness, and restlessness, and just difficulty breathing, sweat, and tiredness, and elevated blood pressure, and even it can lead to death. Because high levels of carbon dioxide can lead to oxygen deprivation, and we all need oxygen to live. And also, carbon dioxide can make our Earth's temperature much more higher and create a greenhouse gas, like that gas traps heat in on Earth. So we would have like even more harsher global warming and well pretty much Earth's destruction if we keep leading that. And element carbon itself is a very low toxicity. But because the fact that it deprives oxygen from our bodies, it's very bad and we don't and oxygen is basically something that keeps us alive. So like we don't want that death. Plus, when you, of course, like burn charcoal, you will have carbon dioxide. But if you don't burn it enough, then something called carbon monoxide will arrive here. And let me tell you, carbon monoxide is not a good thing at most. It can literally lead to your death. Remember the time I told you that carbon dioxide could lead to short breathness and just very low levels of oxygen? That, but even worse, it can lead to your death. That's why I add the death parts, by the way. When us Mongolians started using those processed charcoals, lots of those accidents and deaths happened. And it was all because of those half burnt charcoals creating carbon monoxide and leading so many deaths. And my subject on carbon has ended now. Thank you for watching my video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, PS, tomorrow I'll show you guys a recording of my singing of a Choir song named Unmuk Orang, and I know you guys will love it, okay? Bye!